This is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle, coming to you today with a video. It's mostly about change. 27 years in the department, 27 years in this profession. I know for a fact one of the only constants in our job field is change. So, that being said, going ahead and hit you with some news right on Front Street. We have a change in our executive leadership at the state level. Mr. Inch, as most people in Florida know, has retired. He's left us. Mr. Inch is no longer the Secretary of the Florida Department of Corrections. Appointed to replace him was his Deputy Secretary, Mr. Ricky Dixon. I look for good things from Mr. Dixon. I think it'll be outstanding to have him leading us into the future. Chosen quite recently as the Deputy Secretary of the Florida Department of Corrections is one of my former wardens, that being Mr. Richard Commerford. Mr. Commerford is an outstanding individual. He is very knowledgeable about our profession. He's been in for a great many years, and I look for great things to be coming from Mr. Commerford. I really do. I look for exceptional things to be coming from Mr. Commerford in his position. Sorry, I had a pop-up I had to get rid of. Taking his place as the Deputy Secretary of Institutions, I believe that's the proper title. I could be mistaken, but I believe that's the proper title, is Miss Hope Gartman. I have not met Miss Hope Gartman that I can remember, but I have no doubt if she was chosen to be in that position that she is worth her salt, and we will see good things coming from her. Man, these pop-ups are persistent today. But aside from a leadership change at the state level, we also have a leadership change at my local level. My warden for 4 years is taking a transfer to another institution. And I want to take this forum to publicly thank him for everything that he has done for the institution. As Warden John Kolodziej. Mr. Kolodziej, you have done a great many things for the institution, and you've done a great many things for me. You have always supported me. You have always had my back, and I can't thank you enough, sir. I wish you the absolute best as you are going to your new assignment, and I look forward to continuing to hear from you and continuing to have your support, as I know everybody at Century will. Thank you. Thank you for what you have done for us. That being said, with his leaving and creating that absence needed to be filled, and it has. We have a new warden coming into Century Correctional Institution. It is Warden Ronnie Quinn. He is a former captain at Century Correctional Institution. He is a former captain that I worked for when I was a sergeant. Really, really great individual, really good guy. Very knowledgeable about the profession, very staff-oriented, is going to back staff. He is going to be an amazing addition to the leadership team at Century Correctional Institution, and I personally want to welcome him and thank him for coming to us, bringing the new ideas, bringing back some of the old ideals, and just really being a positive influence on us. I can't thank him enough for that. I think that's going to be amazing. I think it's what he's bringing to us, and I personally look forward to once again working for Mr. Quinn. All right, I've talked enough about the change in the leadership structure of my small little corner of the profession of corrections and the larger state at large in the Florida Department of Corrections. So I want to move on to, I watched a video today by one of my YouTube friends, somebody that I subscribe to, and it's William Young, Just Corrections. William Young. If you don't know anything about William Young with Just Corrections, I implore you, go check him out. very knowledgeable, very oriented towards staff mental well-being, staff emotional well-being, as well as staff physical well-being. He has some of the most insightful videos you will ever see when it comes to corrections, and I recommend every single person that works in corrections to go watch his videos. The video that he put up today was titled, well, I don't know what the exact title was, but it was based around the problem with staff morale could be you. I just wanted to give my little take on that. I just wanted to give my little expansion on that because, like I said, changes are going to happen. Change is the only constant that we have in the profession of corrections. Corrections is more often reactive than it is proactive. So we react to what the inmates are doing, have done, or will do. Or no, not will do, but what they are doing or have done. We very rarely proactively take care of what the inmates will or might do. So it's a bad situation all the way around. It's a bad scenario all the way around. And there's very little you can do to control it at the correctional officer level. There is very, very little that you can control at the correctional officer level outside of your housing unit and your inmates. Make no mistake, you exercise absolute control over your housing unit and your inmates. If you don't, you're in the wrong line of work. Okay? As you move up in rank, you control a little bit more, but even as a captain, as a shift commander, all I control with any sort of regularity or with any sort of certainty is my compound on my shift. That's what I control. Okay? I can effect change with ideas. I can effect change with thoughts that I can bring up through my chain of command up to the warden's office, and if need be beyond, so that we can effect change. But what I can absolutely 100% control is my compound on my shift. What I can control other than my compound and my shift, and what you as a correctional officer can control other than your housing unit and your inmates. And by your inmates, I mean the inmates that are assigned to your housing unit that you are required to provide care, custody, and control for, is your attitude and your response to change. That you have absolute control over. In his video, William goes into in-depth conversation about we're tired. We're at our breaking point. We don't have a good work-life balance. We make snap decisions. We don't have the capacity to make a rational decision 9 times out of 10. And we need to decompress. Okay? All of those factors are absolutely 100% true. That being said, if you come upon a stressful situation, you not 7 times out of 10, not 9 times out of 10, but 7 times out of 10, you have the ability to figuratively, if you will, take a step back, reevaluate what's going on around you. Ask yourself a few questions. 1, is this legal? Is your response that you are planning on using legal? 2, is this morally right? Is the response that you have planned morally right? 3, am I going to get fired or arrested for doing what I plan on doing? If the answer to that third question is yes, don't do it. If the answer to the first question is no, don't do it. If it's not legal, don't do it. The second question is the most subjective question. Is this morally right? Every single person that works in corrections was raised with a different set of morals. Tell me different, I'll call you a liar. Everybody was raised with a different set of morals. Everybody was raised with a different set of standards that they live by. Those are going to influence your decision-making abilities just as much, if not more so, than how tired you are, how overworked you are, how in the toilet your emotions are. All of that's going to play a factor, but your upbringing and your morals and your values are what's going to play the most into that decision. Okay? Folks, if you need to take a step back, now there are moments where you can't. If a life is on the line, you respond. If somebody is going to die, if you do nothing, do something. I don't care what you do. Nothing is the worst thing you can do. If somebody's life is on the line, respond, act, get involved. But if you have the time, and 7 out of 10 times you have the time, step back, reevaluate, and ask those questions. Is this legal? Is this morally right? Will I be arrested or fired for doing what I plan on doing? That is something that you can absolutely change or control. That is something you can absolutely control. Now, that's dealing with the inmates. Let's move into dealing with change. He brings up a great analogy, William does, in his video about a hat. I'm not going to take his thunder. I'm just going to leave it at that. You want to see about the hat? Go watch his video. It's simple. Long story short, people were spinning out of control about a damn hat. They were spinning out of control about a hat. I'm going to let him tell the story. Watch his video. It's awesome. Okay? We have a new warden coming in. I'd venture to bet a third of the staff at my institution are scared to death of this new warden coming in because they have gotten so used to Mr. Kolodziej and his way of doing things. Outside of the warden's office at my institution is every single warden that has ever served as warden at that institution, and there's a lot of them. I missed one. I did not work for Mr. Sheffield. I worked for every other warden at that institution. They all have their strengths. They all have their weaknesses. Anybody tells you different, I'll call them a liar to their face. They all have their strengths. They all have their weaknesses. They all have their own way of doing things. They all bring their own spin on how the institution is going to run. And they're all in charge. While they are at this institution, they are in charge. You have policies going to be coming down from these wardens to you as line staff that you have to implement. And the only thing you can control about that is your response to it and your attitude. Folks, I can't say it enough. I cannot create positive morale at that prison. Trust me, if I could create positive morale at that prison, man, I'd do it. I'd be on board. I'd get it done. You guys create the positive morale. You guys are the ones that are going to put down the positivity that is necessary in our profession. The first thing you got to do is make a conscious decision to do so, because you, and only you, control your attitude, and only you control your responses. Folks, I am not going to go into any further detail in this video. I am done. I am done with this video. Okay? Understand, staff morale, William says it in his video. I recommend everybody go watch it. Staff morale is more so in your hands than it is mine. 100%. 100%. Folks, if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications when I post new videos. And comment, engage. Let me know what's going on. Talk to me. I'll answer your comments. Folks, as always, there is no place for domestic violence in this world. If you are the victim or you know the victim of a domestic violence situation, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. That is a domestic violence hotline. People at the other end of that phone call have the tools, abilities, and resources to help the victims of domestic violence. If you know the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, say something to somebody. The absolute worst thing that you can do is nothing. And if you are the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, there is help for you too. First, you have to admit that you need it. Then you have to ask for it. Folks, as always, love shouldn't hurt. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. And we work in corrections. One team, one fight. Y'all be safe behind the fence. I'll see you in the next video.